Hi, Stane here. This time we're taking a closer look at Chapter 6 of Stane Street, the book I wrote about a Roman road in the south of England. In this chapter we travel from Alfoldean to the village of Ockley. We find a large Roman fort and an ancient village with lots of history. Come along and explore. Our first stop, just north of Slinfold, is an empty farmer's field. 1800 years ago, Alfoldean, probably the largest Roman fort along Stane Street, provided residences for administrators, officials, soldiers, traders, and travelers. They also shared a bathhouse, stables, courtyards, and dining rooms. Over the 350 years of its existence, a large village of locals, probably Celts, developed around the walled fort. The first excavations in the 1920s discovered just how large the community was. In 2005, the popular Channel 4 TV series Time Team did an episode on this site. You can still find it on YouTube. The Romans left in the 4th century, and the site fell into disuse. It's easy to miss it, as it is just an empty farmer's field now, with no indication that anyone ever lived here. Stane Street ran through the fort and across the river and straight up the hill through what is now known as Roman woods. Go figure, right? There is a trail through the woods if you want to walk the road. As it was easier to go around the hill rather than over, the travelers circled it to the east. If you follow a straight line up and over the hill, you will come to the hamlet of Rowhook, which in Old English meant a rough corner of land. A second Roman road called Farley Heath crosses Stane Street here. Besides a few houses, there is only a 15th century pub in Rowhook. For the next few miles beyond, the road has disappeared under woods, fields, and hedgerows. If you look carefully on a map, you can see that parts of Ruckman Lane follow in the Stane Street line towards the hamlet of Oakwood Hill. After circling to the east and crossing the border into Surrey, we pick up Stane Street again near Oakwood Hill. The road turns slightly to the right. A couple of miles down the straight part of the road gets us to the historic village of Ockley. The village straddles Stane Street for about a mile, with some of the most beautiful preserved houses and buildings in South Surrey. The structure in the green is the well and pump built in 1841. That and the school were bequeaths from Jane Scott, a governess to a wealthy family. The school finally closed in 2019. The cricket field beside the green has been used by the local club for over 170 years. Archaeological finds show that Ockley has been very active since Roman times. In 851, King Ethelwulf and his West Saxon army marched up Stane Street and fought a battle here with a marauding Danish army that had just pillaged London. The Vikings were so soundly defeated that it was described as a great slaughter. In 1803, a windmill was built just off the road and ground grain until 1912. Elmer's Mill, situated on a ridge on the farm belonging to one of the oldest families in Ockley, going back to 11th century. The very recognizable windmill finally collapsed in 1944. 60 years later, it was reconstructed as a private residence, so Ockley has its windmill back. A truly beautiful and interesting country village. Stopping at the Inn on the Green was worthwhile as we enjoyed a pint with the locals and some of the local history. We took a side trip up Leith Hill, the highest hill in the area. Just as we passed the village hall, we turned left and followed the signs to Leith Hill Place. This 400-year-old manor house had been the home of notable families, and for a while it was a boarding school residence. It also is supposed to be haunted. Continuing on to the summit of Leith Hill, we found a very odd-looking tower. In the 1760s, the local owner wanted the hill to be over 1,000 feet high, so he built the original tower. After his death, it fell into disuse and was filled with concrete and debris. In 1864, the owner at that time tried to reopen it, but could not get past the concrete. So we built a second tower attached to the first, which allowed access to the roof. The views we got from the top were absolutely spectacular. Back to Ockley, and we headed northeast again on Stane Street. Just beyond the village, the A29 takes a right turn and heads towards Bear Green, where it joins the A24. If we follow our road, it leads to Bucking Hill Farm, about a quarter-mile down the road. The 300-year-old Grade 2 listed farmhouse occasionally has an open house. It's worth a look. Beyond the farm, Stane Street disappears completely. Woods, fields, hedgerows, but no road. That's all for Chapter 6. Next time, let's see where we find our Roman road again. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want a copy of the book, I have put a link in the description below. So until next time, this is Stan taking a closer look. Bye for now.